Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video of whatever it is we're calling these things. Now today we're going to be building something a little different, something that you don't really build that often, and that's a radial block-off plate for the barnfind impala, simply because, well, we're wanting this thing to feel like a 60s or 70s muscle car kind of drag car, and well, when you got the bare bones stripped down muscle car, you didn't get the radio, or at least you could option it without it, and it'd save you a couple pounds, for going down the quarter mile. Not that it really matters on this car because it is 4,000 some pounds. But I think it'll give it that extra little effect of, that vintage race car kind of period correct drag car vibe that we're going for. So, yeah, let's get to work. All right, now the first thing we're going to want to do is, well, build a template because, well, it's kind of a awkward shape to guesstimate. So we're just going to take some basic paper out of our notebook here, line it up with two corners if we can. Nothing's quite square in here, so we'll get it kind of close and just make imprints with our fingernail here to get us started. And hopefully it'll be close. Like so, we can kind of then trace that out with a pen so we can get a better visual of it, hopefully, when we go to butcher this with some scissors. Like so. Nothing too fancy. We're not winning the Riddler Award here with this car, so well, it doesn't need to be perfectly amazing, but we're going to try our best to do a good job. Yeah, I think that's kind of good. Now we can go ahead and cut this out on, with some scissors and trace it out over some steel. All right, now this part I really hope we don't have to explain too in depth. We're just going to take our scissors and, trim out our general shape that we kind of want here. Really basic. If you don't know how to, follow a line with some scissors, well, maybe you should rethink a project like this. Other than that, I don't know, it's a fairly simple little build. There's no compound curves, nothing like that. We just gotta, trace this out on a piece of steel afterwards, cut it to shape, and, well, we're gonna add some studs on the back of it so it bolts on through the original radio knob hole, I guess, and maybe add something extra special too. So, you're gonna want to stick around and see that little custom touch that we're gonna do, because I think it'll be pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't know. This is all fabricating is taking your time, making little things that nobody will ever notice, because who notices something like a radio block-off plate? But it's worth it just to be able to build this stuff and, make things that nobody else has. It's kind of fun. So that's why we do this. Now for the next step, it's quite simple. We just set this down on a piece of steel with as many edges as we can lined up. Unfortunately, it's not quite square, so we can only line up the one edge, and then we'll put the magnet on there to hold the paper and run the Sharpie mark along the edge of the paper. Quite simply, like that. Doesn't need to be too terribly precise because, well, wood will end up getting ground and trimmed up perfectly to fit, but at least if we can get our rough outline, we can throw it in the shear and, cut ourselves a piece nice and simply. Like so. And there we have it. We've got our basic plate shape. We can go ahead and do our basic radiusing of the corners. Hopefully it'll, you know, be kind of close, and then we can fine tune it from there. All right, now with a little bit of fine tuning, finessing, trimming, and throwing away that piece and starting over and building this one, well, it fits quite decently. So let's take a look. Come on. There, just like that. We have our radio delete panel in place. It seems to fit up against all the corners and ridges nicely, and we should be able to go ahead and somehow crawl underneath there and mark the backside for the holes, because we're gonna, if we can get that back off, we're gonna put a couple studs on the backside, like right there, something like that, and we'll use those two holes with some, you know, nuts and bolts, and hopefully it'll bolt right up there like nothing. So yeah, let's get to it. And just like that, we have some marks. Hopefully they're in the right spot. And now for a quick, I don't know, intermission while we get out of here. All right, now that we've got the holes marked on the back side of our panel here, we can take these 1/4-inch bolts, which are probably a little bit overkill for this piece of sheet metal going into some plastic, but it'll work for what we're doing at least. And we're gonna cut them off somewhere around there. Hopefully that'll be the right length, weld them onto this, and hope it works. Hopefully we put those holes in the right spot, because they're very precise. We're paying attention very closely to how well that marked, so let's do this. All right, now that we've got that all welded out, we've got, well, some burn through obviously to the other side, which is to be expected when welding sheet metal this thin. It's only 20 gauge. So we're gonna grind this up now and hopefully make it look nice and pretty and smooth again. All right, now that we've got the piece kind of roughed into shape, all smoothed out, kind of half decent, and the studs welded on the back, we're gonna take some hardware with some big flat washers and try and install it to see how we like it, make sure there's nothing we have to tweak or change or anything, and then, well, it'll be ready for paint. And maybe something else. Just wait a moment and see. All right, now that we are in here, we're on the passenger side. Hopefully we can get underneath the dash over here a little bit more comfortably than it was over there to mark those holes. But let's make sure those all fit and we put the holes in the right spot. Come on. Well, there we go. Appears to fit. All right, thanks to the magical power of editing, you didn't have to see me look like an idiot underneath the dash again, trying to install that. But we've got the hardware in there. Everything seems to be, you know, fit and finished quite nicely. Fits around that bezel there real good. So now for the surprise. Well, 3, 2, 1. To that 427 fender badge, right dead center where the radio used to be, because, well, we won't be listening to any radios, but we will be listening to big blocks. So I guess that'll be something. Should look all nice and beautiful once it's all painted black, or maybe even that kind of silver color to match. We'll see what we end up going with. Maybe let us know in the comments what color you think we should paint it. But yeah, that is the barnfind Impala 427 radio delete. Because why not? Because race car. And because we can. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned for more, I don't know, whatever it is we do around here. Hopefully we'll keep posting every week as long as we can think of fun, stupid things to do, which normally comes up quite often. So yeah, like, subscribe, follow, and, well, do all those other things and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.